So if you remember, we had completed verse number 34 in the last class. We did 33 and 34 in the last class. So just recollecting what we understood. Krishna was talking about the glory of Jnana Yoga, because compared to anything else, Jnana Yoga is superior. Superior in the sense there is nothing equal to it. It is not just superior, because it stands apart from all the other yogas. So he had also talked about 11 other types of yoga which will help us to prepare our mind for Jnana Yoga. But Jnana Yoga alone is going to give you the ultimate goal, to take you to the ultimate goal of moksha. So he had talked about 11 different types of yoga, including pranayama, yoga, tapas, different types of austerities that one can practice. One can practice all, or even one of those we take up and do it regularly. It will help us to prepare the mind. So he talked about the glory of yoga in verse number 33, and in verse number 34. See, having said all this, you also have to tell how to achieve it. You can say, okay, you gain Jnana Yoga, through that you gain moksha. But how? So he says you also need to approach the right kind of teacher, the wise teacher, who will teach you in a traditional way by doing namaskaram and doing service to such a wise person. You gain that knowledge. So he glorified Jnana Yoga, and then he also gave the way to achieve it, how to gain that Jnanam, which is the right. For example, like when we, after schooling, we want to study engineering or medicine, our probably friends or relatives or teachers, they would tell us which is the best college for whichever subject we are looking for. So through that, we approach, with that knowledge, we approach the institute to gain admission. For that, whatever the procedures are to be followed, we do that. Similarly, to attain Jnanam, you need to approach the right teacher, and with the right kind of attitude. It is not just going to a teacher and say, I want this. You go with the right kind of attitude. You prepare to serve that teacher, because this knowledge is not something which is easily available. So to find the right kind of teacher itself, we need to be lucky. Or if you can put it the other way, our karmas lead us to the right kind of teacher. If we have done the right kind of karmas, they will take us to the right kind of teacher. So that is also another way of looking at it. But in any case, to gain that knowledge, you have to approach the right kind of teacher. So this is what we learnt in verse number 34. We will read that verse again and then we will proceed further. Tadvidhi pranipatena parisprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnananastatva darshinaha. Now let us go forward to the next verse, verse number 35. Yajjatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshena drakshasyatmana manya thomai. So in the next 3 verses, Krishna is going to talk about the benefits of jnana. So what is the benefit of attaining this knowledge? Because anything we do, we always want to know what are we going to get out of it. Even if you want moksha, to attain that, you need to know this knowledge, what is the gain for me. So in everything we look for a gain. Otherwise, our mind will not be prepared for anything. Because without understanding what is the gain, we will not have the urge to do something. So here, Krishna talks about 2 benefits that you are going to get by gaining knowledge. The first one is, it will remove all your delusion. You will have clarity in your thinking. So this is the first benefit. And the second benefit is, you will see all the beings in yourself and in me. Basically, he is trying to say there is no difference between you and me. Because anything you see in me also, you see in yourself also. So you are not different from me. So these are the 2 benefits that Krishna says you will gain from gaining this knowledge. Now when you say it removes all the delusion, so we have lot of conflicts in our mind. So take the example of Arjuna. He was well learned in so many subjects, in warfare, in archery, and in politics, Dharma Shastra, and so many other fields. He was very, very good at so many things. But he also had this conflict. And this conflict for him and for all of us comes out of attachment. So basically his conflict was, he could not accept what will happen to Drona and Bhishma. He could not accept that they may not survive. So this kind of conflict happens to all of us at each stage in life. Right from childhood itself, at that time we may not have too many conflicts, but even there, to eat this chocolate or to eat that chocolate, to wear this dress or to wear that dress, to play this game or play that game. And then as we grow older, then when you come to 10th standard, you have to choose conflict between whether you should choose science or arts, we should study engineering or medicine. And then when you come to college again, whether you want to study engineering or medicine or arts, and in that what kind of engineering you want to study, what kind of specialization you want to do in medicine, or in arts you want to do which type of arts. So at every stage we have conflicts, and we always feel after we make a certain choice, the other choice would have been better. So always, because we are not ready to, we don't know how it is going to pan out and what is going to be the result. Once you take that decision, how that decision is going to pan out. Will I be comfortable with the result of that action, or will I land myself in problem? Because nowadays, driven by, earlier at least there was some interest in certain things people used to do. Now it is driven by probably the kind of money you're going to get. So you are driven by that, and you take up courses which you feel are going to give you better remuneration. Whether you will be interested in that kind of job or not, you don't know. And having gone for it, you will realize that after some time you are miserable, but you're also stuck. Oh, I could have studied something else. I was interested in playing cricket, I could have become a cricketer. Or I was interested in music, I could have taken music as a career. So always, after we take a decision, we don't know the consequences. So always this conflict is going to be there, and we are always driven by, if I do this, what will happen to this person? So our mind is always in turmoil. So how to remove this turmoil? Again, knowledge is the only answer. So once you have this knowledge, whatever decision we take, we will be taking those decisions. The knowledge is not to make decision, but once you take the decision, knowledge will help you to accept whatever is the outcome of that decision. So whatever happens, okay, this is what is supposed to be. So let me do well. I have taken a decision to do this. Now let me accept that. Many times we postpone the decisions. Why not do it tomorrow? It's uncomfortable because we are not ready to. Suppose it doesn't turn out the way we want. What will happen? So we keep on postponing the decision, which is again going to create more conflicts. Because ultimately you have to take a decision. In every stage, you cannot avoid taking. Every day you need to take. Right from the time we get up, we are taking decisions only. So they say, in a day you can do only so many decisions. After that the mind will be exhausted. So if we restrict ourselves to the number of good decisions or number of decisions we should take, then it becomes easier. That is why we get up, okay, should I get up from the left side of the bed or right side of the bed? After that, should I first drink water or first should I brush my teeth? Or should I have bed coffee and then brush later? Should I have a bath before or after breakfast? So these kind of irrelevant decisions take away most of our decision making abilities. And then when we really need to take a decision on some important things, the mind may become tired and we may end up taking wrong decisions. So if we have regular habits, we will not waste our decision making ability on various things. So you get up in the morning, you follow the same routine, get up, brush your teeth, because there's nothing much to choose. Then whatever you do next. So certain things we should not waste our energies, our thinking capabilities, because if we waste on trivial things, when you really need to take tough decisions, your mind will be exhausted and you may end up making wrong decisions. So knowledge will help you to keep calm, take decisions which you think are right at that moment, based on your knowledge, based on your experience, and then accept whatever outcome without any kind of turmoil in the mind. Okay, I have taken this decision. Now whatever comes out of it, I will handle it. So the knowledge gives you that maturity to accept any decision or any outcome of all the decisions that we make. So this is a very useful effect of gaining knowledge, because everything revolves around decision making. So if we are able to take care of that part, it becomes easier for us to handle everything. So all our attachments, everything which lead us to this conflict, we will learn to handle them better. And what is the second benefit of knowledge? So Krishna says, you see all the beings in me, and you see all the beings, everything around us is you. So indirectly he is saying there is no difference between you and me. So once you gain this knowledge, you understand that there is nothing called duality. Whatever you see is one and the same. You don't see, the same consciousness pervades everything. That means you have, once you start seeing things that way, that is what we call as moksha. So first thing, it removes your delusion, it brings clarity to everything that you do, and when you have ultimate clarity is when you see everything around you is no different from you, including God. So you see everything in God and everything in yourself, which indirectly means that very God you are looking for is yourself. So this is the second benefit of jnana, or the ultimate benefit, because once this clarity comes and you see everything as the same, you have attained what you are supposed to attain as a human being, that ultimate goal. Now let us go to the next verse, verse number 36. Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. Here Krishna further goes on to say that even the worst sinner will be, even the person who has committed the worst sins can still remove the effect of all those sins through jnana. So we have accumulated papams over several janmas. So we are carrying a big load of papam, and that is the reason why we have got this birth, to remove those papams. So we have accumulated a big load of papams, and we are also accumulating in this janma also. So there is another way of removing papam, is to do prayashchittam. So you do various rituals to remove those effects of those papams. But how many papams you have, you don't know. Because as you know, we have accumulated over millions of lives. We don't know how many lives we have had earlier. And among them, during our earlier human lives, we must have accumulated a lot of papams. That is why we have been born now. Now, if you want to do prayashchittam, first you should know how many papams are there and how many papams you will remove by doing prashchitam. So there is no way we can remove prashchitam, and we are also accumulating papams as we do. So all the, as you know, three types of karma: sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and agami karma. So sanchita karma is all the, papam means all the phalams or the fruits of all your actions earlier which have produced negative effects. So that is called as papam, and those actions which you get positive effects, they are called as punya. So we have a big load of sanchita karma which we have accumulated over many lives, and among that what has matured now, that is what we are enjoying or suffering in this birth. So which we call as prarabdha karma. So this, even if you exhaust through prashchitam all the prarabdha karmas, you have a big load waiting in the form of sanchita karma. So it is impossible to remove all the karmas by any other means other than through jnanam. And even the worst of the sinners, so we can say everybody, all of us have papams. Probably some people have more. For example, the politicians, the way they are carrying about themselves, maybe they have a much bigger load, or they are accumulating more. Already they have accumulated a lot, and in this janma also they are accumulating more. Even such people, if they attain jnanam, they can also gain moksha. So even the worst sinner, if he thinks, okay, I want to remove all this, first that person has to accept that he has got papam, he has done, because that itself is a problem for most people who do papam. They think they are right, only others are doing wrong. So even if such person thinks, okay, I have accumulated all this papam in this janma, is there a way I can remove? If he decides and he goes about the process of gaining knowledge, definitely he will also be free from all these papams. So it is not just people who feel they have not got too much of papams. Even the worst kind of people, for example, we can take the example of Valmiki. He was supposed to be a dacoit, and he used to loot, even kill people as a profession to take care of his family. So I believe Narada met him once, and he asked him, so you're accumulating all these papams, but is your family willing to share the effect of your papams? So when he asked each of his family members, they said, why should we take up your papams? You are committing, your duty is to take care of us. If you are committing papam, that is your problem. We are not part of it. So Valmiki realized his problem, and then he turned himself into a rishi. So even the worst of sinners can be relieved of all his papams just by attaining this knowledge. Of course, whether such people will be interested in knowledge is another point. But if any of them decide at any particular point that yes, I have done too many, I have accumulated too many papams and I am going to accumulate more if I continue in this way. I want to get out of this. What is the way? And he approaches the right kind of teacher and he follows the procedure what Krishna has described, doing the 11 or 12 yajnas among the many hundreds which are possible, practicing them regularly, gaining that knowledge. Again, Krishna has said how to gain that knowledge also. So if such a person also decides to do it, even he will gain moksha. So he will also cross this ocean of problems, ocean of samsara. So it is not like he should not think that okay, first let me remove all the papams, then I will start fresh and do further more papams. So one cannot think that way. Once, because automatically when you gain that knowledge, you will not be able to do papam, because the knowledge will remove all your doubts. And once the doubts are removed, you gain that knowledge, you gain moksha. So this is the second benefit of, or the third benefit. So the first benefit, it gives clarity to your mind. The second benefit is it removes the, or it gives you the knowledge that there is no difference between God and me. And the third benefit is it removes all your papams. Now in the next verse, he is going to talk about the next benefit. Yatai dhamsi samidhogni yathai dhamsi samidhognir bhasma satkuruterjuna jnanagnihi sarvakarmani bhasma sakurute tatha. So this knowledge is like a fire. You put anything into a well-lit fire, it will reduce everything to ashes. Similarly, all our actions will be reduced to ashes in the fire of knowledge. Now, what is the difference between the previous verse and this verse? So in the last verse, he talked about all our papams will be removed. Now here, he talks about all action, the fruits of all action, whether they are good or bad, also will be burnt. So it is not only the papams, even the punyams that we have accumulated will get burnt. So then we can say, oh, so all the punyams that I have accumulated all this years or all these janmas, if that is going to be burnt, then why should I have this knowledge? Because punyam is supposed to give probably a place in heaven. So you want me to avoid going to heaven by even burning the punyams also. We should understand that even heaven is a temporary place. It is not going to give a permanent solution. So even if you remove all your papams, your punyams will take you to heaven, no doubt. But once all your punyams are exhausted, you again come back to Mrityu Loka, as we call it. You again start performing actions, and again you will have punyam and papam, and this journey will continue. So if you are interested in that, good luck to you. But if you feel I don't want to again come back and go through this again, then this jnanam, like the fire, it should be a well-lit fire. Because if you put things in a fire which is not yet fully lit. It will get half burnt, or sometimes it may put out the fire also. That is why we should be very careful to follow one particular teaching, at least till the time our knowledge is firm. Because if we start looking at various gurus or various books, it is going to only create more confusion, and ultimately this fire will be put off. So the whole process will be of no use. So if we want to really light that fire, we should follow a methodical way of teaching, and consistency is for a length of time. So it is not that we attend one lecture here and there and we say, okay, this is good. After that, till we attend the next lecture, we have forgotten all that we learnt, and then we listen to somebody else, he talks in a different way. Again we get confused. No, that person was telling this way, this person, because nowadays in YouTube you have different types of people talking, which is bound to. So pick anyone you feel is good. There is no, it is up to the individual's choice. There is no hard and fast rule that he is the best, or deep within you should be convinced that whatever the guru speaks makes sense over a period of time. So it has to be consistent. So you have to go through the right lineage of gurus, find the guru who is, trace back his lineage, and then follow in a systematic manner over a length of time, because this fire has to be fanned all the time. So you have to slowly ensure that this fire keeps increasing. So ultimately this fire will destroy all the karmas, positive or negative. And once your entire baggage is burnt off and you attain that freedom from everything, so you are free from this cycle of birth and death. So this fire of knowledge is the only thing that can do that, burn away all the accumulated karmas, whether they are papam or punyam. Once that is burnt off, that means your knowledge. So that can happen only when the fire is fully lit. It will burn down everything that is put into it. So first step is to ignite that fire, and then consistently keep that fire going. So if you have seen any homam being done, one thing is chanting the right mantras and then keeping that fire going, because the fire should not, once you start a homam, the fire should not get extinguished till it is complete, till all the rituals are complete. So you have to be very careful in maintaining that fire also. So the moment you feel the fire is going down, you have to put the wood at the right time. So this is the way we have to follow to gain that jnanam. So this jnana agni should be constantly kept alive, so that it grows into a good fire, which will not, even a wind will not be able to extinguish that fire. So once your jnana agni is so strong, all the karmas will get burnt away and you gain moksha. So these 3 verses, Krishna talks about the benefit of knowledge. So again and again he is emphasizing only knowledge is going to give you that freedom. Anything else you do, it will only take you up to a certain point, and some of the yajnas which was described, practice of which helps you to prepare your mind so that when the knowledge comes, it stays in your mind firmly, or the fire that you light, as in this verse he says. So all the other things help you to keep that fire going, and then ultimately this fire is going to burn away all the karmas and you attain moksha. So this is what Krishna is talking about in this verse. More we will see in the coming class.